Kathy Fritz, California.
Here we go. I'm Brad Jewett.
I'm Tim, the Trail Man.
Keeping it real.
And now, Brad and Tim.
All right, now we are officially started tonight. Thank you, everybody, for being on and being on time. Those of you that are here already, we are just kind of coming off a great show with Mr. Gene Spagnola. We have him here with us tonight already, as we've seen. So, Gino, thanks for coming back on. Hopefully, you've got a topic for us tonight. But, Tim, what's the official name of our show tonight?
Type the topic on Thursday. Type the topic.
Topic Thursday.
Type the topic.
Quadruple T's. Quadruple T's.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What do you have anything lined up for us getting the show rolling, Tim?
Well, I was going to tell you about my day. Let's see if I can do it right. So first thing I did today. Is that my dogs?
That's your dogs.
Doggy
the
daycare.
Three amigos. Doggy
daycare. Jimmy Choo to the right. Bobby Brown. That's Frankie, who's kind of like co-hosting here. So Frankie gets to hang out. Yeah, that's how we roll. And
nice.
then let me show you the bad thing about the day today, if I do it right. Here was the sad part of the day.
I don't want to hear that, man. I don't like it when you have a bad day.
I know.
Ooh, ouch.
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 Wasn't me, though. So Tina was driving this lawnmower today and told me that the wheel fell off the front tire. So it was sad. It was sad. But he's still alive. We drug it in and we got back to the barn and stuff like that. So, you know,
the wheel still looks like it's on the tire. It looks like it looks like the tire and the wheel completely fell off the tractor.
It did. And it was weird how she called me out there and said, "Hey, the wheel fell off." I go, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" So,
and look at your dog. Your dog was like,
part of the day. So,
your dog was thinking that he was the one that was supposed to be taking the picture of.
Well, it's the girl, and he probably was like a dog looking to pee on the tire, but the tire was on the ground, so he couldn't pee on it. He's probably going, "What the heck?" So,
gotcha.
Gino, okay, the tire rod broke. So I said, Gino, yeah, we don't talk about my driving. That's another night, because that's a long story. I'll bring you guys pictures that one night about the driving story, because I do have pictures of where I fell in. So another night, we're gonna do the driving story, okay, but not tonight, Gino. Thank you.
Oh man, that's a good story.
But you know, we gotta like it because the weather's been nice over here. It might rain tomorrow, but like my friend Robin from Canada, she was showing me they're snowed in. Like her horses are like up to their legs in snow. Like we were saying how Rain Man gets to run around out here in the nice sun, and she's her picture and the snow up to her horse's leg like that. So I appreciate that. It's nice weather as we speak, even though we're cooped up a little bit.
Oh, we had rain all day today. It's just been kind of a really soft rain, but it's been raining all day here, but not super cold. So we'll take it. We'll take it. Hey, we have a question that just got typed in.
You want to read it?
You read it.
Okay, from Team Vomerville, they're so smart over here. Select horsemanship question. Mr. Jewett, how is a simple change scored compared with a flying change if the parent calls for simple or flying? So if there's an option on this lead change and it could be simple or flying in a select class, not an amateur or youth, but a select class, how do you weigh that out? You tell me, I'm sorry.
So if I had $1 for every time that I was asked this question, right? And the select to me doesn't matter whether it's a select or a youth or amateur or whatever. For me, as a judge, I'd like to see that change of lead smooth. If you do it smoother for a simple through a simple change more than you do it smooth through a flying change, then you probably ought to do a simple change. If you can do that flying change, be able to hold your equitation, keep your rhythm, and get through your next op or maneuver, then do your flying change. Whatever is going to look the most seamless for you to be able to not have a huge hiccup in your pattern. Now, I understand sometimes at some point we all have to teach our horses how to do a flying lead change in a pattern. And so sometimes it's going to get a little bit hairy. So sometimes you as riders, and I tell my clients this as well, because like, oh no, I just going to do a simple, I'm going to do it. Like sometime you have to sacrifice one of your performances to at least try and get this flying lead change figured out, right? Until you do, you're always going to have that stigma in your head that maybe I can't do it. So I find that a lot of people staying on topic, but changing the subject a little bit. Too many people practice the flying lead change, and that's all they make their pattern about. So, oh my gosh, if I have a really good flying lead change, then I'm going to do well. And I think that's, for me, my opinion, that is not the case. Although I see ones with really good flying lead changes that do really well because the others are trying to do the flying lead change and can't get it done yet, so that they need to do the simple change. So flying lead change is definitely not the end all be all, but to me, the most important thing is seamless transition. You know, if going from your left lead to your right lead, however that is, whether it's simple or flying, and not to mess up your maneuver before that change and after that change.
I think you talk about like management of a pattern all the time, you know, like how you're managing your pattern. So it kind of depends on what happens after that too. You know, like depending on how much room you have to make that change, or is it in your best interest to go for the simple because there could be a circle or turn that's coming up or something else that if you're late on your change or it doesn't work very well, it's going to impede what you're going to do next, which causes more trouble than it was worth.
Absolutely. You're 100% right. I mean, that's a plan, right? Having a plan. You know, a lot of times, Tim, you call for a simple or flying lead change in a pattern. And I haven't seen a whole lot of flying lead changes work out. I think of all the ones that I've seen or judged in a pattern, there's maybe been 2 that have made it look slick and good. We had one really hard one just at the Silver Dollar circuit this year. Oh my gosh, where that thing was set up and how you had to change and turn. And I mean, we had almost 100 senior horses, and it needed something like that to give it a little bit higher degree of difficulty. But I think the one I want to say the ones that did the lead change really good weren't my winners. Actually, they were probably in my top 10, I would say, because they were feeling it. But I don't know that I could say that they were my winners right off the bat here.
You know, like in my event or the trail event, I take that in consideration too. You know, at Vegas, I didn't set it. I mean, Don and those guys set it. I kind of told them how to set it. So sometimes that kind of gets tweaked a little bit because they're so strict to the paper. But sometimes when you make that lead change, I put you in a little predicament, especially in a tighter arena. You got to be good at being able to change leads and hitting the ground once or twice, and then be able to jump the pole. Okay. Sometimes when you do the simple change, you get a little bit more time to air out and then pick up that lope and just hit it with one and then go. So sometimes you can be thrusting, okay, and then that change gives you more thrust and puts you in a predicament again, just like horsemanship could, you know. And I'm sure that I'm thinking about that when I draw that course too. So it weighs out in that class too. It weighs out in trail, weighs out in equitation, weighs out in horsemanship too.
Absolutely.
And then people, you know, for people just jumping in, like if you can tell us where you're from tonight, we love that, right?
Yeah. So those of you that are coming in, we want to see where you're from and all that. And of course, this is Type the Topic Thursday. So any questions, you can see Lena's already sent a question in and we just answered that. And we got a thumbs up from her, from somebody else, I don't know. But we want to hear your questions. And in the meantime, while we're letting some questions kind of build, we want to tell everybody about who we are having tomorrow, which is the executive director of the NSBA, Ms. Stephanie Lynn. She will be joining us tomorrow night at 7:00. We got to visit with her yesterday, and she's got some great information for us about the NSBA world, what's coming up there, and then also some new programs that NSBA is implementing. You know, they're very forward thinkers there, as Stephanie Lynn's predecessor, Diane, Diane, sorry, I should have said Diane Eppers. Everybody knows Diane by Diane, but it's just they lead the way in so many different areas, right? So I'm sure you'll be very excited to hear what she has to say tonight or tomorrow night. Excuse me.
We're just going to go back to that question again because Lisa asked too, in a select horsemanship class, if you're asked for a flying lead change and you do a simple, will you be disqualified or should you just not show the class if your change is not strong? I've never heard that mandatory flying change. I've always heard it always be an option.
So it is always an option, but it may say flying change. If it was an old pattern, it might say flying change. But just so y'all know, it in the AQHA rulebook, you can never demand a flying change. And if you see any new patterns that are written since that rule's been changed, you'll see where the new pattern should say it'll say lead change, and it may say simple or flying after it or not. It doesn't matter. But if it just says lead change, then you can just do simple or flying and you won't be off pattern or disqualified because you did a simple lead change.
And it goes the same in trail too, where I can't ask for a flying lead change. So it always has to be simple or flying. So great question there. So can I tell you another one? Can I ask you if you heard about this one today? Because I just heard this one from Lena this tonight. Do you know they moved Madness to July? Do you hear that, Bradford?
Is it official?
Well, I saw it on Kathy's and Equine Production where it said that it looked like pre-Madness was out and that the main Madness was going from July 22nd to the 26th. That's what I read tonight. So
gotcha.
Little FYI information. I didn't know that till Lena came home tonight. So
well, Kathy may be one we need to have on here next week to help us, clarify some of that stuff. But yes, I did hear that today. I just didn't know that if it was official or not.
Oh, got it. So,
but if Kathy's posting it on her website, then I'm assuming that it's probably pretty official.
I believe that to be true too, as we speak, as long as nothing happens. I'm just reading some of that. Okay. Yeah. So, as they were saying that too, I'm trying to look at my calendar too, big A's in there, Minnesota's in there, and then kind of like Athens and Madness, right? That's what usually kind of happens during that time of year. And then before you know it's Youth World. So it's going to squeeze right in there somewhere.
For sure. Yeah, but I'm anxious. I'm excited to see if, is Redbud going to be one of those shows that we get to go back to work with? And if not, then will something happen with that show? Those are so many questions that we all have up in the air right now.
Right.
So, hey, Judd Paul just chimed in.
Hi, Judd Paul. We're trying to plug it, buddy.
It's official, July 22nd through the 26th. There you go.
See, we're working it, Judd Paul. We're there for you, buddy.
There you go. Go Bucks, by the way. Horsemanship question, Timmy. When doing a turn, I have noticed it is getting a little faster. Does the pivot foot need to stay set? And is fast a plus if it is smooth? I'm going to reread that. When doing a turn, I have noticed it is getting a little faster. Does the pivot foot need to stay set? And is fast a plus if it is smooth? Well, I'm going to make sure that I understand your question. When you're saying that the turn, when you feel your horse getting faster, I'm assuming that's what you're commenting about. For me, horsemanship is all about a concert with the rider and the horse, right? The rider's playing his instrument, and the horse is very willing to be the instrument. And so if I see the rider ask for that turn to be a little bit more steppy, then absolutely, that's upping the degree of difficulty. The more speed that you ask out of something and it is within control of the rider's feel, then absolutely that's going to call for a bigger plus. If it is as far as the pivot foot goes, there's no saying, it's not like showmanship where that foot can't move. For me, that foot has to stay in kind of a triangle. If you're turning to the right, that inside foot needs to stay within an area. Okay. And obviously the faster, the more higher degree of difficulty that is, that foot's going to move a little bit more. It's going to drag a little bit more. It's going to do a little bit of here and that. Right. But it doesn't, it's not going to incur any kind of penalty whatsoever. You do not have to maintain a pivot foot. You need to maintain a pivot foot. Hold on. Let me backtrack. You need to maintain a pivot area foot. We don't want to see the horse swapping ends, moving his front end, and moving his back end, and moving his front end, Coke bottling. I mean, there's a bunch of different terms for it, swapping ends. We don't want to see that. We want to see a horse maintain a balance on his inside pivot foot, but it does not have to hold in the ground. Did I explain that well, Tim?
Question?
Of course.
So as you guys are judging, not me, but as you guys are judging horsemanship, right? I mean, you have to watch that rider's hands, feet, and body position along with that pivot leg. So it's hard to like see all those components at once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as that leg's in a general location, not flopping ends, like you're talking about swapping ends, I think it's a plus situation as long as it looks smooth and you're maintaining a good seat. You got a feel to the horse, right? And you're taking command of the situation. You know, speed is always controlled speed. If you're looking smooth and you can go fast and stay in that moment, you're great. Okay. Right. But if you're wild and that leg's flopping around and you're steering pretty hard and you start really strong and then you end weak, that's no good. Right.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a balance, right? It's a concert. Right. It's wanting to stay in tune with that horse as you're performing that pattern. And at any point that you get disconnected from it and there's maybe a pause in the middle of that turn or whatever, I mean, obviously that's going to take away from your maneuver score. Now, if you overturn or underturn, that's going to incur a penalty if it's more than an eighth or less than an eighth or a half or more than a half. But I don't think that was necessarily the question. But you do get credit for smoothness, but being smooth and slow is not going to get you a whole lot of credit. Smooth and efficient. I love the word efficient, being efficient in that turnaround. Trying to get as much done, the best that you can, the most efficient that you can is where I think you're going to get your biggest score.
So,
y'all are quiet tonight. We don't have a whole lot of questions coming up.
Right. So sidebar here. Okay. Sidebar on this one. So the other horse I did miss and my caught me on this was the Cornhusker, Nebraska. So that's like right after Redbud. I think it's the third week in June, right?
I think that's right. Yeah.
There before the big A. And Cornhuskers are quite big. It's a big show there over there in Lincoln, Nebraska.
For sure.
Michelle, Maya Dawn. I'm plugging that one too, guys. So because I think I definitely draw for that. I think I'm going to work that one too. So I'll be there too. So it's always good to see me. Where that mailbox, that sack of cans, that slicker shows up, right? So my friend Maya, because she sent me a video today, okay, I was impressed. Chad, I'm plugging you, Chad Tony. He had a slicker, or he had this jacket on a standard, and he'd go by, he'd trot by it, he'd pick it up, trot a circle, and then come back, stop, and hang it back up. So I'm just thinking in my head, that's legit for me. I can ask you to do that. So I don't know, maybe look at Maya's video, ask her for her to look at. It opened my eyes, right? I said, oh, there's a move there that probably in my playing field. So I call that the grab and go the jacket.
There you go.
Standard. Please work it. Yeah. Want a slicker. Yeah. Way to go, my dog. I got it. I'm on it. So.
Oh, that's going to be, not very popular, but okay.
I know, but okay. Read the sign. You see that sign behind me? Keeping it real.
Keeping it real, baby. Hey,
if it starts raining, okay, and everyone's clearing the arena and that your jacket's hanging on that gate standard, you'd go jogging up to that thing, catch it, and go, keep going and get out of the rain.
Well, jacket's a little different than a slicker, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and I would say a jacket too. I think jacket's legit.
Okay. Okay.
Pick up object, carry to the other place.
Hey, we have a question, Tim. This looks like it's going to be a good one too. For you're going to start. How did you guys get to where you are in your careers? What did starting your businesses entail, and what advice would you give to people in similar situations? Wow, that may take the rest of our time right there, brother. But it's a great question.
No, sure.
Okay, so you go first. First part of the question, Tim. How did you get your start in your career? And we're going to talk about your trail career.
Yeah. I can't lie. It's like I didn't like it that much when I first started. I was intrigued of how to draw the course, the setting it, going to the horse show, picking up poles, dropping them. It wasn't so nice because usually I was by myself. We didn't have ring crews back in the day. Like I was doing it all by myself. And all of us know that have done it. It's a pain in the ass when you have 50 poles and you have to put them down by yourself and pick them up by yourself, right? So back in the day, it wasn't so fun like that. We had some ring crews. I got good at it. I got good at it. I figured it out. I had a passion for it. What I do is it's sad because there's not a lot of people can do it. And I get a little concerned when I retire. There's only going to be a handful of people that can do it. And the winner will be Tina Vollmer with the vault of patterns in her vault. Right. I said, don't sell my computers. Don't sell my storage disk unless you're ready to sell big. And then she has them all. She has all these files now. She figured out to file up. So all these years are in my man cave, right?
She's
so
holding
I said,
them up.
these are worth a lot of money here, young lady. Okay, you might not like how to do it, but people are going to want these if I retire or something happens to me. So
right.
that's where I'm at with that. You know,
so
would you event? Go ahead.
Well, I just want to see if I can elaborate on that because Ricky, they just went out on their own, right? Yep. And so did you have any one person influence? Like did you take over somebody's position as drawing patterns at some horse show?
So okay, good question. My friend Michael Damians, who usually comes on, I don't see Michael's name tonight. Michael's from Ohio, California. Michael and I went to school together. He taught me how to do it a little bit. We did it together. I took a lot of his jobs in California because he wanted to judge. He was inspired to be a trainer and judge. I was just going to be my trail man because I still have a farm and other things at home that I wanted to stay closer to home at that time. But Michael is, there were people ahead of us, like Larry Elkhorn, who just passed away, Ray Gillum. There were people that did our style to start with back in the 70s and late 80s or late 70s, 80s. And then Michael and I took it over kind of, and then we kind of built it. And then he went to judge and I kept going, right? It was paying well. And I could go to the horse show and still show my reiner and stuff like that. So it was kind of cool. But you got to have the passion. You got to have the vision. You got to have the passion. You just can't read the paper. It's not how it works.
I'm into that.
It's a weird, but I really like.
Well, and that really answers the end of his question there, which what advice would you give to people in a similar situation? Don't read the paper. You just keep your head down and go into work, right? And I'll share a little about how I got to where I am, and God always has a part of my story because where I am today is nothing to do. I didn't have a plan to do it. I started in the reining horses with Robert Chow. And I would not trade anything for the world. He's one of the greatest horsemen. And I really learned a lot from him on just getting a horse to move, to give everything that you want him to give. And, I told my story the other night about having all these colts tied to the outside of the round pen. And I just go through them one by one by one by one. And those horses taught me so much, right? I always say you can learn something from a bad horse and a good horse. We obviously like to watch the good horses and ride the good horses, but you can learn something from every animal that you throw a leg over. Sometimes it's what not to do, but you can learn something from it. But I went from Roberts and actually left the business for a little bit because I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. I knew I loved horses and I loved being a cowboy and all that. And that's the original reason I I did it is because I was raised in the city, and I just wanted to be a cowboy. I didn't care if I made money or not. I just wanted to be able to eat every day and have a place to sleep, and I didn't care about anything else. And so I got out of the business not knowing what I wanted to do, and my entrance back into the business was back here in South Texas, was with some people. The reining wasn't really super big at the time down here, and I had some reiners, but it just wasn't, really paying the bills. And I got really reject cutters, and they were good enough, and we competed at all the South Texas reinings and all that kind of stuff, but it wasn't super fulfilling, at the end of the day, when I knew I was putting in the work. And so anyway, somebody asked me to help them with their all-around horses when we can come clean stalls, and you may ride a little bit or whatever. It's like, sure, I need the money. So I went clean stalls and ride, and one thing led to another. They get out of the business and I'm in it. And one of my clients, always his favorite story is one of my first clients that I had. He bought a horse. I was from we flew out to California and bought it from Charlie and Jason. And his name was Skull Guy or Dipper. And he was an old guy, old horse that had done it all. He kind of knew everything. And I didn't know anything at the time about horsemanship. So he went out there and did a pattern, and the judge comes up and talks to him, and he said, "Hey, you had a really good pattern, but your arm was down the whole time, like straight down to his side, like a pleasure horse person, right? Riding." And so he comes out of the pen, and the judge didn't let him win because of that. He had a good pattern, but he didn't let him win. So he comes out of the pen, and I ask him, I said, "What did the judge tell you?" He goes, "In the horsemanship class, you're supposed to carry your arm up, like we all do now in the horse, or we teach them to do in a horsemanship." I had no clue. That's how green as grass I was coming into this industry. But I have to say, it's being able to be capitalized, being able to be willing to try new things. Don't be afraid to fail is probably the biggest thing. Everybody kind of wants to have this perfect silver lining dream fantasy setup to do it. But I can tell you, if you're not afraid to fail and you love what you're doing, then you're never going to have a problem. It's just like Tim, you said, you completely, you love what you do. And I'm sure there's been many a times that you've drawn a pattern. You're like, dang it, that was a mistake after I saw it go around. Right. And so you fix it or whatever. But the biggest advice that I could say is, keep plugging through. Make sure you enjoy what you're doing. Don't do it for the money. If you do it for the money, you'll end up regretting it. I'm not saying you can't make money and you good money doing this, but make it more about your relationships with the people that you're with. That's what I've done for 20 plus years. And a lot of people have told me, don't get involved, don't get too good of friends or relations. I don't know how to do that. I enjoy relationships. I think God put me on this earth for people and relationships. So that's kind of the advice that I would say is, backing up what Tim said, enjoy what you do, love what you do. And that's this old saying, right? You'll never work a day in your life. But there's tough days for sure, but I don't know how you do it.
No, so my one add-on to this is my history a little bit. I just have to mention Bobby Ingersoll, because that's when I was young. That's the guy who taught me how to ride my cow horses and stuff like that. And besides Bobby, it was fun because all these historical people were there. Like Les Vogt was there. I remember Don Murphy, Tim Stewart, who I just saw the other day, Bobby Avila, Tony Amaral, all these horsemen way in the back bay, right? That I got to meet, right? And I was too stupid to understand that I should be learning more from them. I wasn't ready to learn, right? But I did get stuff from them because they all helped me because they felt sorry for me, okay? But it was such an opportunity in my lifetime to be able, as a child or a teenager, those men were helping me and being so nice to me back in the day. And then I took that stuff probably because of that dumb gate thing, okay? Because I had to open that gate for those cows so many damn times that I went to the rope gate because I was lazy, because I was tired of opening a gate, right? Maybe that's how the rope gate came up. But I'm blessed. I'm blessed too. I'm blessed that I had information back in my day to do this. And like I said, I still love drawing courses. I love the higher end. I love the World Show. I love that finals where here we go, let's play ball, right? It's you against me
Yeah.
a little bit. But then
Well,
go ahead.
No. Please finish. I thought you were going to be done there.
Then there was a short story here. There's a guy named Walter that I met at Venice. Okay, walk trot amateur man. He was a tough one, but as Whitney's student, right? I helped him for 5-6 days just because he made me want to help him. He wasn't very good. Okay, he had a great horse, but he had he needed some foundation. Okay, Lindsay did a great job with them. Whitney did a great job with what you had to work with. But like, I don't mind helping that, like a man like that.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Keeping it real.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
So
it was painful, but I enjoyed it.
But that's what I come back to as well. You know, a lot of times, especially new trainers these days, because they've worked for people that have wealthy clients, maybe clients that buy nice horses and all that. And so sometimes the young trainers will come in just looking to bleed people, saying, "Oh, we got to keep up with the Joneses." Well, you're not expected to keep up with the Joneses if you're a new young trainer. Right. And that's a big misnomer that I believe a lot of young trainers, like the clients that I had, and they all know who they are. They've been listening in on our show from time to time. They were super loyal to me. Why? Because I won a lot? No, I hadn't won anything at the time. It's because I invested in them. I invested in their kids, and they knew that they were important to me, not their money. Their money wasn't, that they were important to me, how their kids were raised, that they were being taken care of, taught responsibilities, things that they're going to use the rest of their life. That's what was important to them. Those four clients that are right off the top of my head, really 5, they are the reason that I'm sitting here today with world champions, Congress champions, and all that. It's because they believe me. They allowed me a start. They didn't make me jump through hoops. They knew that they didn't have to make me jump through hoops, that I was going to be there whether that kid won or lost. And it goes to the same thing today when I get clients, "Oh, I thought I had to have $1 million horse in order to come and train with you." That's such a misnomer. I get that all the time. And I just want somebody that wants to try. And you know what, if you have certain goals, just similar to what you were probably the example you were talking about, helping this gentleman in Venice. Like, you love the challenge, you know, there's a lot of challenges, but if somebody is given the right perspective, then you can accomplish a lot.
Yeah. I mean, like I've had several like that, right? You know, I had a nice lady in Arizona that I helped a little bit, and she just needed to find it a little bit. And I hung in there for about 3 days, and we grinded and stuff like that. And I found something for her, you know. But
heck yeah, you did, because after you got done working with her, she walked by me. She goes, "Oh my gosh, I got to do the pinwheel for the first time ever."
Right, I know.
If it's the same person you're talking about. And she's like, "I've never been able to do a pinwheel before. And Tim taught me how to do a pinwheel." She could have been jumping to the moon at that point, right? It's really about those small victories like that that's going to keep your longevity in business. It's the small victories, not the big victories. It's the small victories. Sorry, that's why I said we could go on with that topic over and over and over and over. We're gonna take a commercial break real quick, and then we're gonna come back with type the topic.
Keeping It Real is brought to you by
Kimes Ranch Jeans, Blue Ribbon Custom Tack, Letchworth Bits and Spurs, JewettEquine.tv, Chauffeur Dough, Silver Dollar Circuit, Horseman's Future, Unishippers.
And now, back to Brad and Tim.
All righty, we're back. Did you find us a question for us, Tim? Thank you, by the way, to all of our sponsors that we just saw. We couldn't do this without you. Yes, this does take some money to be able to get everything kind of set up. So we really appreciate.
We've
Go
got a lot
ahead.
of people asking about being a sponsor too, like you go to the webpage and everything like that, right?
Yep. So go to thekeepingitrealshow.com, thekeepingitrealshow.com. You can go on there and find information out about sponsoring or send us an email about it. Also, if you think you want to be a guest with us, a TV spotted guest, then please make sure that you go there, give us your information so we can reach out and contact you, which I'm pretty sure I can tell you that we have a special guest next week. We got a couple, but one special guest that we're going to have, he's the leader of the virtual horse show deal right now, Mr. Charlie Cole. He will be on with us next week. We're not exactly sure which day yet. We're thinking Wednesday, but we will make sure you keep checking back in because we will have Charlie on with us. He was very excited to hear that when we asked him if he'd be on. So looking forward to that night for sure. Let's get back to some questions, Tim.
So in show, the Volmer girls are showmanship girls, but it's from Kim. Showmanship backing, speed, efficiency, position of the exhibitor to horse. What is credit earning, Judge Brad?
I'm looking for that question.
Oh, sorry.
Because I want to be sure. See, oh, there it is. Backing, speed, efficiency, position. So you're kind of answering that question as you're asking it. You never sacrifice efficiency, position of yourself or the horse for speed. Credit earning, you don't get more credit because you go faster. To me, again, it's all about unity between the handler and the horse. We've gotten so much away from precision of patterns that we lose the feel of a pattern. You know, some patterns aren't meant to be back as hard as you can, and then one back's really hard. Well, then when somebody comes out of a backup into a pivot and that handler hasn't learned how to balance itself and taught that horse how to balance, and you see that horse just doing it for the handler, that's not credit earning whatsoever, right? The horse can back really fast, but if that handler's not being taught to where to take their little hesitation or pause before they get into position for their pivot or a trot off or a walk off or a setup or whatever it may be, you're not going to get a lot of credit for me on the backup. So, or if I saw that, if the maneuver was a pivot to a backup, if I see that handler has a really good backup on a horse and they finish the pivot and they just jump into that backup position and roll with it, that's not going to be credit earning because I don't see that handler is understanding that horse has a balanced position. And pretty soon that backup's going to go away, or that backup's going to get crooked if that handler doesn't understand where the feel is from handler to horse. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, sound good. So my friend Michael, he just dropped in, so I want to say hi to Michael because
Michael Damianos.
Michael Damianos, I just talked about you, man. I just talked about how we started off back in the day, how we used to draw courses together with the swizzle sticks, and how it was raw back in the day. And then there's people ahead of us, but I appreciate you, Michael. You helped me do my thing. You taught me, and yes, maybe I took it from another level, but I really appreciate everything you've done for me. So great job, Michael.
So here's a question for you, Tim. When you create a new trail pattern, do you lay it out on the ground and ride a horse through it, or just put it on paper and set it up at the show? Ooh, that's a good question.
So it's the year 2020. Okay, let's go back 40 years, 1980, kind of when Michael and I were finishing college and starting. So I've done this for 40 years now. Weird things, you know, I have a vision. Like I can see it, I can line it up, and then I can cheat a little bit. Once it's on the paper, I can twist it enough to make it ride right. That's why as a course designer, we're supposed to watch the warm up a little bit to see how it rides a little bit. So if you need to tweak it a little bit, open it, close it, do your thing, you know, you tweak it like that. But that's the gift. I'm going to say there's a gift on that I can see it. I can visualize it. Yeah, 40 years, that's how many courses you can think I've laid out. I got a good feel what goes where. And then when I go to Europe, it's even better when I get those smaller pins, those 20 by 30 meter pins.
I can
Oh
imagine.
my gosh. Yeah. I'm wall to wall, bouncing them off, trying to see how much edge I can just squeeze that thing into it. So I'm pretty clever that way. So in the old days, people have this lazy Susan with the chopsticks in. Grab those chopsticks, drop it, and you'll see the vision. And then you start moving around.
That's what I kind of heard that story was swizzle sticks or chopsticks or whatever that you just drop them and then kind of let it magic come from there.
We were drinking a lot back in the day when we had toddlers.
Oh, gotcha.
We were drinking a lot to get enough swizzle sticks to build our course. We had matchbooks back in the day for our bridge. We had the swizzle sticks, and Michael and I would draw on napkins. He knows that's the story where we would draw on napkins. He would draw something, I would draw something, and we'd flop napkins. And I would draw off his course, and he would draw off my course. But Michael has the vision. He back when we started, he had it. He had way more than I have it now. Now I have it because I've done so much. But he could blend things together to make it look like a horsemanship pattern trail. He was ahead of me there, but I caught up. But I really respect him a lot. He helped me a lot. Yeah, we drank a lot together too.
Tim, do you want to show the picture that you what you typed up today about ABCD?
Yeah.
Show that today. This is what we're kind of trying to get a feel for those of you that are on here. It needs to scroll up. We can't see E quite yet.
Oops. Okay, hang on. Let me pull it up like that. There. How's that?
No. Yes, there you go. There you go. Got it. So after 1 week, this is our 7th show, episode 7. What did you like? What would you like more of? Right? So, everybody can just put A, B, C, D, E. If there's something other than E, and maybe be specific on which ones that you would like. But moving forward, we would like to hear a little bit more about what you guys would like to see, what kind of interviews you'd like to have as well, because everybody we've asked has been very, very positive in their response.
Right, I agree. So I'm going to take it off. Can I take it off?
Yep.
Okay. Oops, am I back?
You're back.
Hi. It's interesting. I go back a week now. We did this and stuff like this. This is number 6 or whatever. We were kind of playing around with it. We wanted to talk about the Jewett Equine TV and doing things like that, and it built into something else. And it's here we are. We're all stuck in our houses a little bit, and just to share, talking with everybody and positive and helping everybody, swapping our stories and stuff like that. What a platform for us to be able to do this and share with people, right? Sharing
Absolutely.
With it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate us both getting to do this and all the work that you're doing. And, I'm the thumb guy, so.
Well, it's, again, this is something that we kind of do every day when we're talking about basketball. We don't have basketball, and this is kind of how this kind of got created, right?
Right.
But no, you mentioned JewettEquine.tv, and it really, really is. It's more than what even the little free video that you get when you get in there. The free video is just to kind of show you the quality and the expense really that Tim and I put into that program in order to get it out. We did a first class audio. Oh my goodness. It's so affordable. It really, we really were aware of that when we did it. We wanted it for folks that didn't have a horse trainer to be able to afford, that couldn't afford a horse trainer. So obviously if you have a horse trainer, you're not going to probably come see what Brad Jewett has to say about trail, or you may with Tim, but not what Brad Jewett has to say about it, right? But that was part of our concerted effort. That's what Jewett Equine TV is kind of about, is for you to be able to go in there and find out some information. Maybe that if you don't have a full-time horse trainer, or you don't have a horse trainer at all, then maybe there's some things in there that aren't going to break your pocketbook, and some really good tips that honestly, if you did have a horse trainer, or if your horse trainer hasn't seen it, there's some awesome stuff in there. I've told Tim, I don't know how many times, and other people that have interviewed me about our videos that we've done. When I was reading, I was like, man, I feel like we're giving this stuff away, because we hash over so much on a pinwheel, so much on a serpentine. And there's just not a question I believe that could be left to be answered after watching it, because I had to be there to edit it all. And there was hours, there's over 20 hours of trail, and then more so
That's
of
broken out.
horsemanship as well. Yeah, it's broken up into 30 minutes here. I think maybe our longest spot is a 45 to 50 minute. Right. And then there's some 15-minute. There's different ways to be able to utilize those videos.
Some of them are about $30, aren't they? Wouldn't you say $3?
Some of them are $10. Some of them are $30. Some of them are $50. But you can buy the pack of 3 for a reasonable. You know what I mean? Like the pack. There's 3 different serpentine videos, and you can get them all for a certain package. So if you haven't seen it, go to www.jewetequine.tv and check out our videos. Just there's going to be the free horsemanship video there, but again, that's kind of just to show you quality, and not just what you're going to be getting. Its purpose was free to kind of see how much we do 2 different camera views. We do zoom, but there's just so many different things that we do with it. It's really impressive.
And there's more to come too. More to come.
Yep. There's more in the making. Absolutely.
I'm going to give my job away pretty soon there on my next video, right?
That's right.
We filmed that Arizona about just a trail course up, and I went out there, and one morning, Kona and I went out there, and the boys were setting up the other pin, and so Kona and I set up the youth trail out there, and we took videos, and I was mic'd up. I explained how I set course up and how to set courses up home, and that's for me. That's my next video on Jewett TV I'm putting out there. So
yeah, it's going to be awesome. I've gotten to preview it because Kona, the guy that's our producer on the show that sets us all up, he's doing that video, and it's going to be sweet, really sweet. So we got a question that actually could kind of pertain to JewettEquine.tv from Ann O'Lowson. Hello, Ann.
Hi, Ann.
Why? Because she's going to be showing this next year, so everybody look out. But she asks, why is it a big deal that the horse anticipates the next move? As a novice rider that has never shown, I would love to practice the pattern to death. But that's apparently not a good thing if I understand it correctly. I would love for the horses to carry me through the pattern and I make it look easy. You want to take that one, or you want me to take it? Because she probably already knows my answer. She's probably looking for your answer.
Nope.
Okay, well, it's a really simple thing. Is for what you said there at the end, I would love for the horses to carry me through the pattern and make it look easy. Well, some horses you can still do that, and let them carry you through the pattern, but the horses always need a leader. And of course, in the novice classes, what I was referring to in the showmanship really had more to do with that level 3 showmanshipper. It didn't necessarily have to do with the level 1 showmanshipper, and sometimes into the level 2 showmanshipper. So whether you're talking about horsemanship or trail or whatever, I would say that we love to see level 1s come in there and have a horse that kind of packs them around a little bit. We don't mind that whatsoever, because the rider is learning to be able to sit there and remember a pattern. So we're not so picky about all the things that I said earlier with what you are talking about here, but practicing a pattern to death on your show horse can have many huge problems, because if you have that horse that does like to pack you around, then he's not going to pack your butt around very long if you keep practicing the pattern over and over and over and over again, because they're going to start to figure everything out before you because they know more than you. And then that's where all the problems start coming up. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now I have to get off, let the trainer back on, and the trainer gets back off, and the rider gets back on. The rider still wants to practice a million times, and then the trainer has to get back on. And you run through a horse over and over and over. So that's a big part of the reason why we don't like to
Can I
practice
add on?
over and over again. Absolutely. That's what I was waiting
Okay,
for,
my
buddy.
story. Okay, so here's
Yep.
my story. So a lot of times at some horse shows that I'm not working at, I get the opportunity to give some lessons at the horse show, or even at a clinic at home. So some of these trainers trust me enough to take their novice amateur on their nice horses and go out there and teach them my thing. So here it goes.
Yeah.
I let them do it over and over and over again until I get it. Something a trainer would never do, okay? Because I need to let them rep enough until they break it, or I get them figuring out how to do it. And then I
Yeah.
depend on that horse trainer to fix it again, okay? It's not what you guys want to do, but it's something that's painful for me. Like, I need to do the reps on this lady till she gets it, because you can't just do it one time and say, quit, let's hope and pray that it's on there, because it's not.
That's
Until
your
you-
job.
That's my job for that moment.
That's your
So-
job. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
so-
honestly, that's where we
so-
work together a lot.
So you guys can't, as a trainer, and you're doing your person, I get it's one way. For me, it's different, because I have an hour with this person, and I'm going to let them, because people will stay on my way in that practice pen or wherever I'm listening over there. And I'm going to do that 4 or 5 times. I'm going to do different ways.
But Tim, you do not let them keep going through the whole pattern over and over. You do one obstacle. You do one obstacle.
agree.
So let's clarify what you're talking about for a second, because I'll do the same thing. I'll let them go around a pinwheel and get reps, right or wrong, keep going. But I won't let them start and then have all these mistakes, but just finish the pattern. It doesn't matter. So let's make sure we clarify that.
So yes, I agree. The pattern, I probably go around the track twice, maybe, but in layers, like 2 pieces together, 2 pieces, 2 pieces. Okay, I'll let you see. Excuse me. I'm not going to cough my hand.
Good job.
I saw Biden do that the other day, so I got to do it, right? I'm sorry about that. But like I said, oh my God, you let her do it so many times. I know it's painful for you to watch, but I'm doing my job, and I'm going to let them do it till I get this, because it's painful. I mean, you watch them kind of mess your horse up a little bit that you train. I said, you're a good enough trainer. You'll fix it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fix your person first, okay?
Yeah, I never have a problem with that whatsoever. No,
Okay.
No problem.
That's the answer. You want another question? Which one do you want?
I'm looking. I'm lost. Do you
What?
see one?
Well,
Who are the people that you look up to and think are amazing in the different classes for the all around? I'm assuming that's a question for us.
so I'm just going to say offhand, because I see it from a different side. Everyone has their specialties, you know. Everyone, their coaches, horsemen, different combinations there, right? So it varies. You know, like I said, I don't know who I want to show my horse, who I train my horse, who do I want to catch ride my horse. Lots of different combinations going on there. They're talking about all around, but you know, tricky.
Well, I'll tell you who I love to watch. I love to go to the reining pen and the cow horse pen.
All day.
Corey Cushing comes to my mind because we were just in Arizona. And I know that's kind of steering off your question a little bit, Tom, but and some may come to my mind here, but for inspiration for me, Steve Archer from the Houston area is a huge inspiration for me as well, and a good friend. I try to gain from outside my arena as much as I can, because there's horsemen in what we do, there's no doubt. But sometimes I feel like some of us make it harder than it really is, if you want my honest opinion. I mean, it's teaching a horse to give him the bridle and go forward and stay in a frame and all that is really not that hard. Obviously, we start doing different maneuvers with it, but so sometimes we are all is so good. And I mean, if I started saying names, Tom, I would miss so many really good horse trainers. and I don't want to do that at this point, because I'm telling you, I can sit there in the trail pen and watch one set of lope overs, and I'll see this trainer go do his deal, and I'll be like, holy crap, that was awesome. I'll see somebody else go, oh crap, what are they doing? And really it all comes down to basics, but everybody's got a little twist and a little turn. Same thing with the gait, same thing with the turnaround and the horsemanship or the back, whatever it may be. There's just so many good horse trainers out there that can make things feel more complicated than they are.
Okay, so here's my sidebar on this. Okay? So this being greedy on my behalf, I'm going to give you my Robin and Jenny spiel here, okay? Robin has these phrases. He has these terms that, you know, I've clinicked with Robin. I've clinicked with Robin and Jenny together in Switzerland. They have terms that I love to learn, okay? A different way of saying something. And I'm not watching them so much of how they're doing it. I'm listening to how they're saying how to do it. Jenny Fried, love her to death. And you know why I need her? It's for that in-hand trail. So when I go to Europe and have to teach in-hand trail, I need Jenny Fried. So I watch Jenny Fried teach her showmanship horses stuff, and then I'm allowed to go ask her questions like, why do you do that? Like, how does that work? And I use her mechanic. I'm being greedy. You know, I'm learning from her like that. How does that work? And well, I can use that for in-hand trail. You know, so like that showmanship, you know, Jenny's really good at that, but I'm like using her for her information for something else. Robin, I'm looking for something, a term, how he says it, so I can use that term when I get to Europe and help my friends over there. So they're just I have fun watching them. I enjoy watching those two coach, the coaching part for sure.
Yeah.
You with me?
Me?
Yeah.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking to me? Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I feel it.
And then the second compliment is listening to Gino say my terms. Okay. When I'm out in the trail pen schooling something and I hear Gino saying one of my terms that I like to use or something, hey, right there, look right there. I think it's a compliment. Same thing with Ryan. Like I'll hear Ryan say a term too out there. And it's so funny. Like it's a compliment to me because it's like a tree of people using the stuff that I taught them and then teaching someone else. So I think it's always just, it's funny. It's like, did you hear me say that? Did you hear me say that?
That's honestly what keeps us all doing clinics. Because I can't tell you, I've let my clients go to clinics and stuff like that, or you come in and you said, and like, oh my gosh, that's what you've been telling me forever. Somebody just has a different way to say it. So it's amazing to me why there's so many horse trainers and then so many with a lot of clients, and then there's some really good horse trainers with a couple clients. And because some of the less known trainers are really good. They're really good.
I agree.
Because they're just like, you know what, I just like it, and I'm keeping it simple, and I'll listen into what they have to say a lot, because a lot of times they have a lot more time to think about it because they don't have 10 other clients breathing down their neck and waiting for a lesson. And so a lot of times they'll dig in there, and you know, Jason Gillam's one for me that, you know, he didn't take a lot of clients sometimes to horse shows, and that guy can figure it out, get it done better than anybody, you know, as far as I'm concerned. And so, Jake Hartman is one that comes to my mind too, that, you know, there's people that are really good. And when you judge, you see people that are really good and you're like, who's that? And then pretty soon at the next horse show, you're like, oh my gosh, that was that person I thought was really good. And I'm listening to him teach, and I'm like, man, it makes sense. It makes sense why they're really good at what they're doing, because they're keeping it simple.
You have another one you want to pick out?
Well, we're getting close to our time here. It's like Tom says, it's like kids that don't listen to their parents, and then when someone else says it, they do. It's how you say it, maybe. Yes, absolutely, it's how you say it, because most of the time we all get to say it. We have to say it too many times, and then pretty soon rider tunes out, and unless you find a new way to be able to say it, it doesn't stick.
So the one more I have too is my one of my rules is don't teach your spouse, don't teach your kids, don't teach your girlfriend, don't coach your own kids. Hard. There's some people that can do it and pull it off. They have a relationship that can do it, but I'm going to tell you that you're going to struggle because it's different wanting it so much for that person. Okay, and especially if it's your boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, wife, and you're working and you still got to do that. It's a tough one. It's challenging,
For sure.
right? Because you really want it for them. Okay, so all my parents always, can you help my husband? Can you help my kid and stuff like that? I said, sure. Let me give it to me. Let me put whatever I have on it, stuff like that. So just be careful, like that. I think.
Very good, Tim. Words of wisdom. Tim, thanks for tonight. Thanks for being a great host, co-host. And thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. We had some great questions. If you didn't get to see the whole thing, please rewind it back, watch it, because there was some great stuff on here, some great involvement. And we're going to get to go over some of the comments and see if we can come up with some new people to bring on here. And you guys, please share with everybody, the keepingitrealshow.com. Anybody that thinks they want to be a guest host or a guest, we'd love to have you on. And then also anybody that would be interested in sponsoring, and then just share it so we can get our viewership up here. It's growing every week. So or every week. My gosh, this is only our first week. Every day. So we're happy to see a bunch of people on, new people as well. So thank you for being here. Stephanie Lynn tomorrow night. Stephanie Lynn tomorrow night. Everybody be here. It is going to be an amazing time. I can't wait to hear what she has to say about maybe one of our first shows to get back to, right? Being the NSBA World Show. So y'all have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Wash your hands.
This has been a Kona Cam production, brought to you by Kimes Ranch Jeans, Blue Ribbon Custom Tack, Letchworth Bits and Spurs, JewettEquine.tv, Chauffeur Dough, Silver Dollar Circuit, Horseman's Future, Unishippers. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.